LaxFactor podcast.
What is up, college lacrosse fans? The NCAA Rules Committee, they are having their annual meeting and they're discussing multiple things. One of the things I wanted to share with you guys and get your opinion on was the dive. The dive, I was delighted to have the dive back. I was totally disheartened with the way that the dive was officiated and with the way the rule was written. So I want to discuss that, and then I want to get your input. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's do a test here. Let's see if we can get this video over 50, 100 likes. We're going to get it to 500 to 1,000 views. So if you're watching this video, like it. That will help get the word out, get this video out in front of more people. But I digress. Let's get into this and start discussing it. One of the main things that I didn't like about the dive was the way the rule was written and all the complexities that they built into it. The whole idea with implementing the shot clock was to try and simplify the rules that surrounded the shot clock for officials so that they didn't have to make a judgment call on when the shot clock should be implemented. That worked. That was a huge success and one of the best rule changes in lacrosse in a long time. It changed the game for the better, for sure, at least in the first season. Surrounding the dive, they simplified one rule and made a new rule that was totally way more complex than even the shot clock rule was. The whole goal mouth thing, the whole cone and protecting it and the player diving towards the mouth and the penalties, it was just written poorly, way overly complex, or not quite complex enough, because I would posit that the one thing I think they could have done better this time around with this rule is simply draw the circle in the crease. Give the goalie what you'd call his protected area. And then you kind of, yes, you have two creases to a degree, but then at least you have an area that the goalie can remain in where he's not putting himself at risk. Come out of that area, and now if the player dives and you happen to be in his way, it doesn't matter if he makes contact with you or whatnot. It simplifies it at that point. If you give him a good area to be in, that the player cannot go in at all, because if he does, it's a secondary kind of crease call or whatnot. But at least then it's a visual. It's not the official trying to decide arbitrarily, is this guy breaking this rule or not? Did he touch this secondary crease at the goalie's feet or did he not? That's as simple as it would be. I think that's, if you want to keep it the way it is and you want to protect the goalies because you're serious about that, I think that's the easiest way to do it. Add a protected area inside the crease, and that's the goalie's spot. Another legitimate thing that I had heard was increase the diameter of the crease. You know, you bump the radius 6 inches to a foot further out. That gives the goalie a little bit more padding. It doesn't greatly alter the game in the sense that you're not bumping the shots back so far that it's going to greatly improve goalies' abilities to save the ball. Which wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing anyway, but you bump a player a foot back, he's just as likely to bury that shot, that one-on-one, as he is if you have him a foot closer. It's that extra foot doesn't do that much. If anything, it might even help the player. So I'd argue you could just increase the size of the crease slightly and remove all other considerations and rules surrounding the dive, and that might automatically protect the goalie a little bit more. Another thing to consider is just go back to the old school rules. Maybe you have I was going to say maybe you have some kind of rule where diving towards the crease at a certain angle, but that's stupid too. You just go back to the old rules and make it simple again. Dudes can dive. And if you do see an uptick in injuries, then we can do away with it. But, we live in a day and age where data is everything. So let's get some data on this. Let's implement the dive the normal way, like it was when I was a kid, and you could just dive all willy-nilly, all aggressively, and see what the data tells us over time, because that certainly makes it easier for the officials to call. It makes the game exciting, and I'm not sure you're going to see a statistically significant number of goalies get injured. I just don't know that it's going to happen. But I think that it's that simple. One of those two things. You either add a protected area inside that crease and do away with the arbitrary idea of that protected area. Just create the protected area for the goalie in the crease and make a new line inside the crease. And that player can never go in there for any reason, or you go back all willy-nilly into the crazy dive and just let's make it stupid simple. You can dive if you score before the ball, or if you don't touch the crease before the ball crosses the plane, it's a goal. It's that, or don't touch the ground inside the crease before the ball crosses the goal line. It's a goal. I think that they just need to either simplify it or make it slightly more complex, but the added complexity will make it easier for the officials to call, I believe. But I'd like to hear what your ideas are. The crease one was one I had never even considered before, and I thought that was actually a pretty good idea that someone had brought up in one of the conversations I had. So let me know in the comments what you think. As always, be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and if you wanted to get some swag, you can go to LaxFactor.com. We've got shorts that you can buy. We've got hats. We've got t-shirts. If you have a team and you need some custom team gear, we do that too. Again, LaxFactor.com. I'm out.